Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. The world has always wanted something to be in awe of, and the circus was one of those places where people could get such an experience. They particularly preferred freak shows for some reason. Keeping that in mind, let us get into the top 10 weirdest circus phenomena in history. Number 10. The Elephant Man. Joseph Merrick, also known as the Elephant Man, is one of the most famous sideshow performers to have ever lived. He was born in 1862 with a still unconfirmed list of genetic defects. Merrick's skin and bones were eventually covered with numerous growths, protrusions, and tumors. His condition didn't begin to display until he was 5, and his parents came to believe that it was the result of his mother being frightened by an elephant while she was pregnant with him, hence the nickname Elephant Man. He had trouble finding work his entire life, and eventually agreed to join the sideshow as a means of supporting himself. He died in April of 1890 of asphyxiation in his sleep. It is believed that Merrick might have attempted to lay his head down when he slept, as he usually slept sitting upright, which dislocated his neck and suffocated him.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. The Living Torso. Prince Randian was born in 1871 in the then British Guiana with tetra-amelia syndrome, a disorder that causes the person to be born without limbs, as well as other possible deformities. Most of his early life is a mystery. According to tales, he was brought along with his wife, Princess Sarah, to America at the age of 18 by P.T. Barnum himself. The two quickly settled in America and had 5 children. Randian found popularity due to his human snake act, where he would wear a one-piece wool outfit and crawl across the stage, and would perform a number of acts, such as writing or rolling a cigarette with his mouth, and shaving with a razor stuck in a wooden block that would be impossible for a man without limbs. Even without limbs, he was a very capable man. He claimed that he built his props, as well as the box he stored them in, by himself. He was also extremely intelligent and spoke multiple languages, and according to those who worked with him, possessed great wit and a sense of humor. Number 8. The Bearded Lady. Annie Jones was one of history's most recognized freak show performers, whose career as a sideshow attraction began when she was displayed at P.T. Barnum's American Museum when she was just a year old. After a small and very successful stint at the museum, Barnum offered Jones's parents a 3-year contract for the girl at $150 a week. While under the care of her nanny, Jones was kidnapped by a New York phrenologist who tried to exhibit Jones in his own sideshow. She was quickly found in upstate New York, where the phrenologist claimed that Jones was his child. When the matter went to court, Jones ran into the arms of her parents. The case was closed, and Jones's mom remained close to her daughter for the rest of her career. Her genetic condition used to cause excessive amounts of hair to grow on her face. She was well known for her musical skills, as well as her bearded face. She passed away from tuberculosis in 1902 at the age of 37. Number 7. The Fiji Mermaid. At some point in the 1800s, P.T. Barnum came up with a mind-blowing business idea. His unique line of business led him to create one of the ultimate freak show creations of all time, the Fiji Mermaid. Whilst there are various reports about the details by which he went about to design this fake monster, the basic idea is pretty much the same. It involved the lower half of a large fish, probably something with a skeletal structure that was about the size of a monkey skeleton. The fish skeleton was then attached to the skeleton of a monkey, removing the monkey's legs beforehand to make the new skeleton appear to be a sea creature. Add some paper mache, a few scraps of fur, and it's almost complete. According to one report, Barnum allowed customers to view the mermaid in his museum at no extra charge. As a result, ticket purchases tripled. Although the Fiji Mermaid is not real, the concept behind its creation is enough to place it in the top 10 weirdest circus phenomena in history. Seriously, who cuts up skeletons and fuses them together in order to make money? Number 6. The Hottentot Venus. Saartjie Sarah Bartmann's stage name was the Hottentot Venus. She became a famous sideshow attraction during the 18th century due to a European fascination with African natives. Her features drew in men and women who would come to see her in the name of science, lust, or curiosity. At the time, people from other cultures were brought to Europe and treated as exotic animals rather than people, and were exploited in the name of entertainment. Khoi women, which Sarah belonged to, was the most well-known. They were often promised money and fame in return for touring the countryside. These promises were never kept, and the women were bought and sold amongst entertainers. When she passed away at the age of 25, South African President Nelson Mandela requested that Saartjie Sarah Bartmann's remains be returned from France. After being caged like an animal in a strange country, she was finally given a dignified resting place near her birthplace. Number 5. Mr. Frank Lentini. Frank Lentini was born in 1889 and eventually became one of the world's most successful and long-lived sideshow performers. His condition was super unique. As you can see, he had a third leg. This on its own was enough to attract an audience. But what was even more shocking was the fact that the three-legged man was also blessed with 2 sets of fully functioning genitals. Despite his peculiarity, he got himself a beautiful wife, Theresa Murray. She was the mother of his 4 perfectly normal children. He became an almost legendary figure thanks to the many biographies of his life. Some said that a year after getting married, Frank decided to return to his hometown. It was during carnival time in 1908 that the great Lentini, whose fame preceded him, was greeted enthusiastically by his fellow citizens who had once mocked him. So, I guess the triumph was ultimately his. Number 4. Lazarus Colloredo and Johann Baptista Colloredo. These Italian conjoined twins made their living by entertaining carnival audiences by simply standing there. They toured all of Europe in the 1600s and gave birth to the idea of a freak show. Unfortunately, the brothers were not entirely whole. Johann Baptista, the smaller of the 2 conjoined twins, was a mere projection in the chest of his full counterpart. He could not speak or act freely, but it is said that he could squirm and shake his hands and arms if he was poked in the chest. These sorts of deformities attracted loads of people to attend their visits, and it is rumored that the brothers made a comfortable living from these freak show tours. Number 3. Pickled punks. The name is quite odd, and at first it can be assumed these freak show stars might be selected individuals from some weird band who had been drowned in vinegar and put on show. However, this is far from that, and it's quite a grotesque thing actually. A pickled punk is a term used to describe mainly an unborn fetus that has been preserved in a pickle jar. The fetuses were already a very unusual and unnerving sight to behold, but many circus owners obtained specimens with strange deformities or disorders. The distribution of such disgusting material among traveling circuses and sideshows led to legal repercussions, but since these specimens were too valuable to give up, circus owners started purchasing replicas instead. This sideshow attraction was apparently invented in the 1600s by King Frederick III of Denmark, who collected numerous pickled punk specimens. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows, we might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. Schlitzy Surtees is one of the most famous pinhead sideshow performers to ever exist, mainly due to his role in the 1932 film Freaks. He was born with a condition known as microcephaly, which is a developmental disorder that causes the skull and brain to be undersized. Microcephalics are also usually quite short, and Schlitzy was only 4 feet tall. His condition also left him really mentally disturbed, which made it difficult for him to perform basic tasks and was only able to speak short words or phrases. Number 1. General Tom Thumb. P.T. Barnum, the infamous showman, had also recruited his fifth cousin, Charles Stratton, a 4-year-old boy who had barely grown an inch from the time he was 6 months old. Barnum told Charles' father that he could earn good money for the family if he was a part of his circus organization. Charles, who was otherwise unemployable in those times due to his height, size, and age, was keen to perform. Barnum taught him to dance, sing, dress up, and impersonate famous people. The act debuted during the late 1700s, when Barnum and Stratton's father went into business together as circus pioneers. Young Charles Stratton, who was just 5 at the time of his first show, performed under the stage name General Tom Thumb, and blew away audiences with his intricate routines and hilarious tendencies, despite his young age and debilitating condition. And that concludes our list of the top 10 weirdest circus phenomena in history. Let us know in the comment section below which one of these was your favorite on the list. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon.